This is live severe weather coverage for East Alabama and West Georgia from Dr. Don's Weather. Stand by as all of our network streaming channels join our broadcast. This live stream is made possible by Randolph County Animal Shelter, Southern Pressed Cleaners and Market, Derek Farr for Randolph County Sheriff, Anchor Roofing, Salem Auction House, the 19th Hole at Cider Ridge, Alpha Insurance Agent Jamie Dukas, Southern Union State Community College, Integrated Contractor Services, Stevens Home Furniture, The Oaks, Boondocks Barbecue and Creamery, Donnie Grant Jr. for Sheriff Randolph County, Fincher Fence Company, the venue at 5 Points Farms, Jeff Monroe for Alabama House District 37, and N&W Locks. From the Alpha Severe Weather Center, here's Dr. Don.
Yeah, we got to spend some time in production. We got to redo that opening. It's outdated just a little bit. Well, good evening, East Alabama and West Georgia. It is 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern on your Wednesday evening. It's the eve before our first tropical system that will affect Alabama and Georgia of this young hurricane season. Not unusual to have this type of weather impending this time of year. But I wanted to come on here tonight and talk to you a little bit about what we think or what's happening right now and what we think is going to happen as we get into your Thursday and Friday. I'll start right off the top by telling you that this entire setup situation over the next 24 to 48 hours is going to be highly conditional, meaning that if some things don't play out just right, we may not see a whole lot of anything. I mean, we're going to get rain, and I think rain will be our biggest threat from this, and I think that will be because of some localized flooding. I don't think we're looking at widespread flooding, at least not across East Alabama and West Georgia. Down in South Alabama, Northwest Florida, middle and southern Georgia, that might be a different story. Arthur, which formed earlier today around noon, out in the Gulf of America, just off the Texas coast, has apparently already made landfall again right along the Texas-Louisiana coast and is rapidly becoming disorganized. Now, that really doesn't mean a whole lot to us because all of the convection involved with this tropical system is well removed from the center. It's way off to the east and northeast of the center of circulation. And so we never anticipated having tropical storm conditions across East Alabama or West Georgia. It's the moisture that this system is going to pump up into Alabama and Georgia ahead of a frontal system that's going to be coming down from the northwest. That may cause us some issues. Now, we're going to have a tropical air mass in place. We're going to have a pretty strong upper-level jet stream up at about 5,000 feet with 70 and 80 mile per hour wind. So with the combination of all those things, there could be a chance of a pop-up tornado or two. I don't think it's going to be widespread, and I don't think we're looking at major tornado concerns here. We may see those EF0s, EF1s spin up very quickly, only last for a couple of minutes or so, and then they're gone. We actually saw that happen this afternoon down in Coffee County, Alabama. Enterprise, Alabama had a quick tornado touchdown this afternoon in some of those storms that are streaming north this evening. And we'll dive deeper into that when I show you the radar here in just a few moments. But I wanted to start with this graphic that you're looking at on the screen. Dangerous flood threat Thursday night into Friday across East Alabama and West Georgia. Now, what is left of the low-pressure system that once was Tropical Storm Arthur right now is projected to move right across central Alabama and maybe right across East Alabama and West Georgia. Most of the models are in pretty good agreement that it's going to take a track very similar to I-20, maybe running parallel with I-20. There are a handful of models that take it further north and bring it across northeast Alabama and North Georgia. And there's a handful of models that bring it across a little bit further south, maybe down around the I-85 corridor. So anywhere from the I-85 corridor up to I-20, or maybe even a little bit further north, I think is plausible. I like the I-20 corridor. That's where the majority of the models are suggesting this storm is going to run. But again, I want you to understand, when we think of tropical storm across East Alabama and West Georgia, we think about those storms that we have been through in the past that once were hurricanes. That came across right up the state line and caused a lot of damage. For those of you who have been around long enough to remember Opal, we had Alberto back in July of '94 that stalled out across East Alabama and West Georgia, caused tremendous flooding across the area. We had several other tropical storms that have caused a lot of damage across East Alabama and West Georgia, but all of those came from hurricanes. This is a different setup here. This is not going to, the storm never made hurricane status, and it was only minimal tropical storm status for just a few hours before it made landfall and is now in the process, the center of circulation is in the process of falling apart. Now, that doesn't mean that there's still not a lot of rain and wind involved in this. There is, and we are going to see some of that. But this is not going to be a hurricane-produced tropical storm situation like we have seen in the past. I don't think we're looking at widespread winds, 40, 50, 60 miles per hour, down trees everywhere, power outages. There certainly could be some scattered areas around that have some of that, but it's not going to be widespread. But I still think the biggest threat that we're going to have, if we have threats, is going to be the flooding rain. Right now, if you believe most of the models, I think the greatest threat for flooding, we're talking 5 inches plus, going to probably be along and south of the I-85 corridor, but across East Alabama and West Georgia, 2 to 4 inches, maybe even some localized 5 to 6 inch totals certainly could happen. And if that all comes at one time, and it's possible that we could see rain rates of 2 to 3 inches per hour, then you could have some flash flooding that could cause some problems, especially tomorrow night on the rural roads around East Alabama and West Georgia. You know, I got to say it, if you're out and about in all of this, best idea is to stay home. But if you have to get out and you encounter water across a roadway, turn around, don't drown, do not drive across the water. You don't know what's under that water. You don't know if the road is still there. Don't take that risk. The best idea is just stay home, especially tomorrow night while we're in the height of all of this. So I think the rain is going to be the biggest threat, and you see clearly there on that graphic, those areas that are in the red color are those areas that stand the greatest risk of seeing flooding rains tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night, and into Friday morning across the region. If you're in the yellow, then you have a slight risk of seeing those flooding rains. So let's go ahead and take a look at a couple of other graphics here. If you're asking questions in the chat room, hold on to your questions. I'll get over there in the chat room in just a few moments, and I'll answer the questions for you. So let's take a look at the tropical update, and here's the projected path of Tropical Storm Arthur. It did develop around noon today and has already or at least it appears it has already made landfall. I don't think the Hurricane Center has officially called it just yet, but that could happen at any moment. I was looking at one of their discussions just a few moments ago, and they were talking about they were having a hard time finding the center of circulation, and it appeared to be inland there along the northeastern Texas coast. But a deep tropical moisture will approach Alabama and Georgia during the overnight hours tonight, and the rain will set in probably late morning, early tomorrow afternoon, and we'll be looking at waves of very heavy rainfall throughout tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night, and perhaps lasting even into Friday, because we do have a cold front that's coming down from the northwest, and there's some question as to will more showers and storms develop when that front pushes through on late Friday morning or early Friday afternoon, and I think that's possible, but again, that is conditional as well. It may or may not happen. We're just going to have to kind of see how it interacts with what's left of Arthur. So here is the severe risk for Thursday. Over in southwest Alabama, the severe risk may start around 5 a.m. tomorrow morning, and then over into East Alabama, West Georgia, more likely mid-afternoon tomorrow through tomorrow night. And the threats here will be damaging winds, perhaps a few gusts up to 60 miles per hour, and a few isolated brief spin-up tornadoes. The danger here is sometimes with these tropical systems, we have these quick spin-up tornadoes with little or sometimes no warning because they happen so fast, and then they dissipate very quickly as well. They're typically weak tornadoes that don't stay on the ground very long at all. And again, even though the center of circulation of this storm is falling apart, one of the reasons why we could potentially have some damaging winds or tornadoes tomorrow afternoon, a couple of factors. It's going to be during the heating of the day, at the height of the heating tomorrow afternoon, and then we have that upper level jet stream at about 5,000 feet that's going to be transporting 60, 70, 80 mile per hour winds. You take these heavy tropical downpours, and those storms with the very heavy rain can push the wind to the ground, and that may happen in spots, not everywhere, but that could happen in spots across East Alabama and West Georgia tomorrow afternoon. This is not going to be a major severe weather outbreak for East Alabama and West Georgia. But a handful of storms could get out of hand as we get into the 2, 3, 4 p.m. time frame tomorrow afternoon. And I think that threat probably hangs around till midnight or so tomorrow night. And then maybe the severe threat and the heaviest rain starts to move away, though rain continues probably through mid-morning Friday. And then if that cold front that's coming down can get into atmosphere that has recovered enough, we could see redevelopment on Friday afternoon across the area. That's an outlier possibility, but we're watching that, and we'll update you as we get a little bit closer. There's a look at the latest satellite shot of Arthur, and you can see that there's a large area of convection, but that's not where the center of circulation is located. If you look real close, up there in right along the Texas-Louisiana state line, you can see a little bit of a swirl right there. So that is where we think the circulation is at this hour, and it is moving north, and then all of the convection, the rain, and showers and thunderstorms are well removed to the east and to the southeast of where that center of circulation, or what's left of it, appears to be at this hour. And that correlates very well with what the meteorologists at the Hurricane Center were talking about in their forecast discussion at 4 o'clock this afternoon. They were really struggling to find where the center of circulation was located at that time. Here's the flash flood watch that shows both East Alabama and West Georgia. This watch goes into effect at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning and runs through 2 p.m. on Saturday, 2 a.m. on Saturday. Now you're scratching your head. Why is it going to go all the way through 2 a.m. Saturday? Well, that's because of the possibility of more rain developing along that cold front, that frontal boundary that will come in on Friday and push what's left of Arthur off to our east. If we get redevelopment along that line, some models suggest that we will, there could be some very heavy downpours there. Also, typically when we have a tropical storm, or typically when we have a hurricane that makes landfall down in northwest Florida and then moves up into southern Georgia or southern Alabama, the first thing that happens is you get dry air that wraps into the storm, and it starts to evaporate the moisture that is in the storm. Well, here's the difference. This particular setup didn't come from a hurricane. It didn't come from that part of the Gulf. And so once it makes landfall, it's not pulling dry air in. So we're going to have storms even after the center of what's left of the circulation passes by. We may still have rain and thunderstorms on the backside of this system move across East Alabama and West Georgia as well. And then you factor in that cold front that's coming down from the northwest. That may add to the backside precipitation of this storm. So it's unique. It is different. And this, again, as I said at the top of this thing, a very conditional setup, meaning that there are several things that could or could not happen that will drive what effects we end up receiving and amounts across East Alabama and West Georgia as we get into this thing. And it's going to be very fluid, and things could change very quickly. So tomorrow's certainly going to be one of those days you want to be weather aware and know what is going on around you. Looking at the severe threat for Alabama and Georgia, I think we probably see a slight risk category introduced, at least for parts of Alabama, maybe even into West Georgia later on this evening for tomorrow. Right now, we're just showing a marginal risk, but I think there'll be a yellow area there before the sun comes up tomorrow morning. Probably going to catch central Alabama, East Alabama, and west central Georgia, if I had to guess. The confidence level, the detailed threat information there. This is not going to be a hail producer. The column is very warm and tropical all the way up to the stratosphere, so we're not looking at any hail threat here. But damaging winds and possibly a brief spin-up tornado or two certainly will be possible with this system. Looking at the rainfall outlook, this is high end, low end. So this is, depending on how you want to look at it, on the left, best case scenario, on the right, worst case scenario. So over on the left, we would be looking at the 2 to 3 inch range across East Alabama and West Georgia. And then looking over on the right, we're in that 4 to maybe 6 inch range. So somewhere between 2 and 6 inches of rain, I think, will be what we'll end up with across East Alabama and West Georgia before this is all over with. And there could be some localized spots that could hit that 6+ category before we are done. I think the better chances for those extreme numbers are going to be down across South Alabama, places like Andalusia, back over toward Troy, maybe down to Enterprise, Dothan, up to around Columbus. And then into Georgia between Macon and Albany, I think has the better chance, though we cannot rule that out all the way up to the I-20 corridor at this time. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that as well. Now, let's run over to the radar and let's show you what's happening out there as we see it at the moment. And if you look down there to the lower left-hand corner of the screen, you'll see the convection that is coming from Arthur. That is our storm right there. And the satellite shot we were looking at a few moments ago was from 4 o'clock this afternoon. At that point, it showed the circulation just south of Beaumont, Texas, right in that area where you see the cursor on the map. And I think that circulation may still be there, but it's a little bit further to the east now. It's right along the coastline. So, and then all the convection is way off to the east by several hundred miles. So it's really, the convection is running off and leaving the core low that was anchoring this entire system, meaning that the low pressure will begin to weaken, but all of this moisture is going to continue to stream up into Louisiana, Mississippi, and eventually Alabama and Georgia as we get into your Thursday. Big storms down around New Orleans, and that's making it up into southern Mississippi at this hour. And then looking at Alabama and Georgia, we had some rain move through East Alabama an hour or so ago. We have some more thunderstorms approaching South Montgomery. I think those storms will run between Montgomery and Troy. And then up north, we have some showers coming out of Alabama, moving through Rome, across the I-75 corridor right now, and those are fading away pretty quickly. So I don't really anticipate any issues tonight across East Alabama or West Georgia. The bigger rains and the better concentrated, heavier rains will be tomorrow. Now, look up here to the north. You see this stuff that's stretching from Detroit, Michigan, all the way back to just south of Wichita, Kansas. That's our cold front that will slowly sink to the southeast. That is going to influence the direction of what's left of Arthur. How far north does Arthur move before Arthur gets picked up by this front and starts to move back over to the east? Current model data suggest that it will stay north until it gets to a point just southwest of Jackson, Mississippi, or maybe a little bit north of Jackson, Mississippi, and then that front moving southeast is going to start pushing it to the right or off to the east, and then it'll come right across central Alabama, maybe East Alabama, West Georgia. Or does it move further north before it makes that turn, and does it move across northern Mississippi, North Alabama, and North Georgia? That's all possible, but really doesn't mean a whole lot because the core of this storm, like I said, is already falling apart. So that deep low pressure that often brings, very strong winds right around the center of circulation falling apart. If we get the heavy winds tomorrow, they'll come from these thunderstorms that are going to be dumping torrential amounts of rain and transporting some of that jet stream air to the ground, not necessarily from the low pressure system itself, if that makes sense to you. So that's kind of a look at the radar as we've got it right this moment, and a good rundown on what we think is going to happen. We will get rain across East Alabama and West Georgia. It's going to be anywhere between 2 to 6 inches. Some areas could see more than that. It's going to be very conditional. It's going to depend on the influence with the cold front that's moving through that will be in here tomorrow afternoon. And I think the severe weather is going to be conditional as well. If we have a lot of breaks in the clouds tomorrow, we get some good heating of the day, then we start getting some of these tropical storms that spiral up through East Alabama with that low-level jet running at about 70 miles per hour. Then we could see some spin-up, pop-up, short-lived tornadoes across the area, so we're going to certainly have to watch out for that possibility. I just want everybody to understand this is not going to be your typical tropical storm setup that we normally see when we have tropical storms that move up that once were hurricanes. That's not the case here, and we are not going to see tropical storm weather widespread across East Alabama or West Georgia. All right, so now let me run over here to the chat room and let's see if anybody has any questions. Yes, April, you'll get rain in Wadley. You're in East Alabama. Stephanie's watching us over in Coweta County. Don't be scared to death, Stephanie. If you're going to be inside, you're going to be just fine. These are not going to be, when we think tornado, we think Wizard of Oz. We think, most of the tornadoes we see on television are out in Kansas and Oklahoma, and you got these big, huge rope tornadoes, and It's just doomsday. If we have any tornadoes tomorrow, they're going to be very quick, spin up tornadoes that won't last very long at all. Now, I'm not trying to minimize it. If it happens in your front yard, you got a problem. But these are going to be very small. We're talking EF0s, EF1s, and I would not expect a large number of them tomorrow. So odds of you getting struck by a tornado tomorrow are pretty low across East Alabama and West Georgia. Flood risk, I think that up here in Northeast Georgia, I don't think so, Anthony. I think the flood risk is going to be along and south of the I-20 corridor. Of course, it doesn't take a whole lot of rain. It depends. If it falls real quick up here in the mountains, it doesn't take. I mean, if we start getting rain rates at 2 to 3 inches per hour and we get 30 minutes of that, then yes, we could have some flash flooding in the normal flood-prone areas, Back Street and Helen, Main Street and Cleveland, places like that normally flood. We could certainly see some of that, but long-lived, significant flooding up here in the Northeast Georgia mountains, I don't see it. Mark Knight, if one wants to contact me, it depends. Have you got a bill I need to pay or what? I'm just poking at you, Mark. Best way to get in touch with me is to send me a message on Messenger. It's very easy to do. Just go over to Messenger and search for Dr. Don's Weather or Don's Strength, either way, and you can get in touch with me. If you'll hang in there just a minute, somebody in the chat room will probably send you what you need to get in touch with me over on the Messenger. Hey, Dwayne May, good to see you in here this evening. You're going to get rain for sure in Roanoke. Now, I can't tell you to what level the storms will be. There's a lot of variables with this system. I mean, this could be a bust. I mean, heck, we could just end up with some rain, or we could have some significant storms to deal with tomorrow afternoon. Again, I'm not trying to minimize anything. I'm just telling you, trying to make you understand this is not normal. This is not coming from what once was a hurricane, and it's highly conditional. There are a couple of different things that could happen. If they do, then we're going to have some pretty significant weather. If they don't happen, or if only one of the two things happen, then it may not be that bad. A lot of variables here. You just need to be weather aware as you go into your Thursday. Yeah, I know that storm anxiety is a real thing. I get it. I understand. That's why a lot of folks follow us here on Dr. Don's Weather, because we like to explain it to you so that you can understand it. If you understand something, then that helps with anxiety. The fear and anxiety comes from unknown. That's what it's all about. So the more we can explain what is happening and what could happen so that there are no surprises and you understand it, then that certainly helps with the anxiety. So we put a lot of emphasis on that here on Dr. Don's Weather. But I can tell you, this is not going to be, if you guys remember Irma, what was that, 2017? I think it was 17. Irma, that just put every tree in East Alabama, West Georgia, and North Georgia on the ground. That was a tropical storm. Irma was a tropical storm. It was a strong tropical storm that once was a hurricane. That is not at all what we're looking at here. This is going to be like perhaps a typical summer afternoon thunderstorm. Typically they're gone in 10 or 15 minutes. Well, these storms will probably be of the same intensity, but they may last a little longer. Instead of being a 10 or 15 minute storm, they may be a 30 or 40 minute storm. And then they'll go away. And then maybe an hour or two later, here comes another one. And it's going to hang around a minute. You're going to get torrential rainfall. Rain and flooding are going to be the two biggest threats from this storm system as it moves through. And that is highly dependable on whether or not we get the transport winds from the upper levels to the ground. Depends on what the jet stream's doing. It depends on how the cold front ends up interacting with the moisture that is left behind from what once was Tropical Storm Arthur. So there's a lot of what ifs involved in this one. Supposed to leave Friday morning for Gulf Shores. Is that a bad idea? Not sure if it will be okay to drive or if the weather will be yucky there this weekend. The weather, listen, yucky weather in Gulf Shores is better than beautiful sunny weather in your front yard. I guarantee it. I know. You need to be weather aware. Check the forecast Friday morning before you leave. At this point, I would not change my plans. I think you'll probably be okay. You may have to drive through a little rain, but I think the heaviest weather will probably have already moved off to our east by the time you would leave Friday morning to go to Gulf Shores. And weather should be beautiful down there this weekend. I mean, anytime during the summer, every single day, almost, there is an evening shower. So that's going to happen. That's going to happen whether we have Arthur or not. I would not change my plans. There ain't a whole lot. If I had plans to be at Gulf Shores, Alabama this Friday, there ain't a whole lot to keep me from going. I'm just going to be straight up with you. I'd be there. Hey, Justin. Well, I don't know. The storms hadn't come through yet. Wait a minute. We got to do this. Wait a minute. Whoa. Wrong button. That is not what I was looking for. What am I looking for? It is what I'm looking for. Hang on, let me turn this off. All right. There's the Dr. Don crystal ball. Let's see, Justin. Justin wants to know if Roanoke is good. I'm looking at about 7:30 tomorrow night. It's storming. I don't know. I mean, you're in East Alabama and you got a chance of showers, thunderstorms, and flooding tomorrow night. Ask me this time tomorrow night, and I can answer that question for you. Anthony, you know, I can make life rough on you. You know what? I don't discount the El Nino and La Nino theories. I think it's certainly plausible that the temperature of the water in the Pacific certainly can change weather patterns across the southern United States. I mean, that makes perfectly good scientific sense to me. But I've never been one of those to buy into, well, during an El Nino year, we're going to have more of this and less of that. And during a La Nina year, we're going to have more of this and more of that. I've seen it completely reversed. And I think it's just it's a fun thing to talk about and study and look at. You know, the forecast is near normal this year. We're not looking for an extremely active tropical system. So I don't buy a whole lot into that. Stop stressing, Stephanie. You know what? It was storming when the good Lord turned the lights on. It's going to be storming when the good Lord turned the lights off. Right? Right. Just use your brain. Use what God gave you. Use your brain. Protect yourself. Be weather aware. Know your surroundings and have a plan. And you will be perfectly fine. Most folks who get injured or lose their lives in severe weather, not all, but the overwhelming majority of them, number one, had no earthly idea it was even supposed to storm that day. did not take the necessary precautions, not picking on mobile homes by no means. I've lived in them and would live in them again. They're gorgeous. But a majority of those folks were in mobile homes, so they didn't have a plan to go somewhere else when it looked like severe weather was going to happen. A lot of folks who get injured or die in severe weather do not use their noggin that God gave you. So don't fear severe weather. Respect it and be prepared, and you're good. What else can the crystal ball do? Well, I can drop it on my foot and break my little toe, which has almost happened because I have a bad habit of doing that with it. It doubles. It's a good double for a hammer. It'll put a nail in a wall. It has not helped me with the lottery just yet. I keep trying. The best I can do is get my money back on my scratch off, which I guess is good. It's better than not getting your money back. Okay, folks, let's see what time of day it is. It's 7:36 Central, 8:36 Eastern. We'll go for another 5 or 10 minutes or so. The height of this should start tomorrow afternoon, Tracy, probably after about 2 or 3 o'clock in the Randolph County area. Highly conditional. It all depends on a couple of different things as to the effects that we're going to see across East Alabama and West Georgia. This is not going to be anything remotely close to what we have experienced in the past with tropical storms and hurricanes. The biggest threat here is going to be heavy rainfall, and only in those areas where the training effect sets up, where we keep getting the same storms training over the same locations. Those would be the areas that will carry the highest risk of flooding, and there's no way to tell you right now where those areas are going to be, because that depends on the exact track of the storm. That depends on if we get any sunshine in the morning to make the atmosphere ripe for severe weather. It depends on the storm's interaction and reaction to the cold front that's coming down from the northwest. It's just hard to say. I mean, you're seeing all these graphics on Facebook. Everybody's trying to get your attention because guess what? They want you to go click on their site because they make money off of it. So they put all this clickbait out there, and they spew gloom and doom to get you to come click. Best idea here is to only pay attention to a trusted meteorologist or the National Weather Service. All these graphics you see come from the National Weather Service. That's their government's weather service. And they do a phenomenal job. And all we do here on Dr. Don's Weather is take the information that they publish, fine-tune it for a specific area of East Alabama and West Georgia, and put it in layman's terms that everybody can understand. No, Kay, no whatabouts. We've made it through this entire 45 minutes without the first whatabout. Let's see here. Where did it go? Where did it go? Well, I was going to play it. Oh, I bet you it's over. Hang on a second. Where did it go? Here it is. I'm having trouble with it, though.
on a summer night. Chat room lighting up left and right. Storms rolling in across the state. Everybody asking if it's coming their way. Roanoke checking in with the first hello. We asking where the storm might go. Woodland watching lightning in the sky. Whitey Lee typing on we next in line. Ashland asking if the wind will blow. Lineville wondering if the rain will show. Carrollton watching clouds build tall. Roosterville saying what about us, y'all? Chat room buzzing, questions flying now. What about Roanoke? What about Weedawee? What about Woodland watching that storm on YouTube? What about Whiteley? What about Ashland tonight? What about Lineville under flashing lightning skies? If we ain't calling out your town on the air tonight, you can breathe easy. Everything's alright if you don't hear your name in the warning call. You're sitting pretty, no worries at all. Franklin checking radar on the screen. LaGrange and Noonan asking what it means. Lafayette wondering if the winds will blow. Auburn saying are we in the show. Salem watching thunder roll around. Pine Mountain asking if the rain's coming down. Everybody typing at the same time, trying to see if they're in the line. Rock Mills watching clouds moving. Big Springs asking if the winds will spin. Dickard saying, Don, what do you see? Ah, man, asking, is it headed to me? Frog Eye checking lightning in the west. Valley wondering if they're next. Beans Mill watching that radar spin. Everybody asking once a day. What about Roanoke? What about Weedawee? What about Woodley watching that storm on TV? Ashland, Lineville under flashing skies. Carrollton watching clouds roll by. Rock Mills, Big Springs asking where it'll go. Dickard up under watching storms roll slow. Frog Eye Valley checking in tonight. Beans Mill watching line and light. If we ain't calling out your town in the warning call, you're sitting pretty, no worries at all. Chat room rolling while the radar glows. Everybody asking where the storm will go. But if your town ain't in the path tonight, you can rest easy, everything's alright. And Dr. Dawn says goodnight.
Good night, Rock Mills. All right, so lots of questions about what time's the storm going to hit. Folks, understand, this is not like we've got one storm, like a line of storms that's going to come through tomorrow. There's not going to be a start time. We could have scattered thunderstorms that are indirectly related to Arthur at any time starting now. It's moisture that this system is pumping up into Alabama. Storms could form pretty much anywhere at any time. Now, what's left of the center of circulation most likely will move through East Alabama and West Georgia sometime mid to late afternoon tomorrow. But there could be storms well out ahead of that. And there could be storms way behind that because we have that cold front that's moving in behind it. I think the storms will increase in intensity and coverage starting around noon-ish tomorrow and throughout the afternoon and continue through the overnight. At times, it won't storm the entire time. These things will come at us in waves. And we may get up tomorrow morning and this thing look totally different. This is a very fluid situation that could change. So be weather aware. You want to check tomorrow morning. We're going to, I've got a radio interview at 7:25 Eastern tomorrow morning. That's 5:25 a.m. Central, and it takes me about 45 minutes to get there, so do the math. I'm going to have to get up around 3 o'clock in the morning to get the weather done. So your Thursday morning primetime forecast will be out earlier than usual tomorrow morning. So when you get up tomorrow morning, you're going to want to watch that to get the absolute latest information on what we think is going to happen as this storm system rolls in tomorrow night, and maybe lingering into Friday across East Alabama and West Georgia. Now, a lot of folks have found Dr. Don's Weather 24 Forever. We're streaming on Dr. Don's 24 Forever over on YouTube right now, along with Dr. Don's Weather page on Facebook and our regular Dr. Don's Weather page on YouTube. The Dr. Don's Weather 24 Forever is exactly that. It's there 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. It rotates between the radar and the 6-day forecast. So you can check that anytime you want to see what's going on currently. And then join us for our primetime forecast early tomorrow morning to get the absolute latest on what we expect with what's left of Arthur. Arthur will not be a tropical storm when it comes through East Alabama and West Georgia. Everybody's flipping because they think about tropical storms like we've had in the past that came from a hurricane that tore the patch up. And that is not what we're looking at here. Could we have some isolated severe storms? Could we have a spin-up tornado or two? Could we have some flooding? Absolutely. All of those are possibilities anytime you have a tropical system in the hood. But this is not going to be like some of the tropical storms we have seen in the past where you had widespread damage and tree damage and power lines. That's not what we're looking at here. You do need to respect it. You do need to know what's going on. You need to be weather aware just in case things change for the good or the bad. So be sure and check us out first thing tomorrow morning with our early morning prime time forecast here on Dr. Don's Weather. And don't forget, we're giving away Thunder Buddies t-shirts. All you have to do is watch us every morning and get the weather word of the day. And then you head over to win.drdonwx.com and register. You have to have that weather word. That's win.dondr. Oh, I just messed that up. win.drdonwx.com. I've said it 165 million times, and I just messed it up. Crazy. But on our Facebook page, Dr. Don's Weather, pinned at the very top, there's a graphic there that talks about the t-shirt giveaway, and the link is in there. All you got to do is click it. Go register. You got to listen first, get the weather word, and every single day you can register again with the new weather word. So be sure you do that. And then on Friday mornings, on our primetime forecast, we give away a Dr. Don Thunder Buddy t-shirt. And you could be the next winner. Wow. Yes. Hey, look, Patricia, she's got it going on. She watches us on YouTube on her Roku TV. That is the absolute best way to watch Dr. Don's Weather, hands down. Resolution is phenomenal. You can see all the little towns. You can see all the text. That's just the way to watch us. So those of you who are always trying to watch us on your telephone, that little bitty screen, go to your smart TV and watch us on YouTube. I don't think there's a smart TV out there that doesn't allow you to go to YouTube. Go to YouTube and search for Dr. Don's Weather. You can either watch us on the 24 Forever stream or the regular Dr. Don's Weather page stream over on the YouTube. Have yourself a fine Wednesday night. Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. I will be back in here with you. We'll do updates throughout the day tomorrow. Understand, I have a speaking engagement tomorrow evening at 5:30 Alabama time, 5:30 Central. So from 5:30 Central until probably about 7 p.m. Central tomorrow night, I most likely will not be able to go live. But leading up to that time, and certainly after that time, we'll have live coverage for you. I'm speaking to the Republican Party tomorrow night. It's going to be fun. So anyway, we'll see you back in here first thing tomorrow morning, and we'll give you the latest information on what once was Tropical Storm Arthur. Here on Dr. Don's Weather, thank you for joining us with this evening's live severe weather update.